So let's talk about racial discrimination, which has happened to like every single race out there. So it's happened to the Caucasian, or what people tend to say, white people instead. To the native folks, the black folks, Asian, Latino, and Muslim, and some other races that branch off of these. So let's first talk about the native folks first, huh? So the natives. So the native people. There have been quite a lot of native people out there already residing in present day North America and Australia, and yeah. And they were the ones who hunted, made learned how to treat themselves in case when they got hurt, like medications and such, and they fell. They followed along the food and resources, and they were strong. Everyone in that tribe, they cared about each other, and there wasn't just like one just like whole native people. There was a whole bunch of different tribes, natives. You probably heard of Inuit, Mi'kmaq, Sioux, and a whole bunch of other native people in different groups out there, each with different ways to do things. But they were always together in their own groups. They never branched off to another, and they would never waste an animal. They wouldn't just eat the meat and just throw away the other stuff like that people do these days. They would use every bit, eat the meat after cooking, of course, and then use the fur for clothing and other stuff. And uh, but when and the and the French people were one of the first ones to call, like, meet these natives in the present day North America. They traded with them, and they went back to France. But the Brits, when they came over, they stole the land from them when after attacking them with guns and stuff and natives were helpless, and and they were also calling them savages and a whole bunch of, and they stole their land and treated them like second class people. And let's not forget about the residential schools, which is why we have Orange Shirt Day and Reconciliation Day in memory of all the children that were whose lives were lost, and there's still finding a lot of dead bodies of children. And let's not forget about Australia too, also taken over by the Brits. And the native people were also living there too, and yeah. And of course, Africa. Africa. A lot of Europeans that were stealing their lands. Not just the Brits, but Spanish. Yeah, they were doing that too. Because of their resources like diamond and a whole bunch of other gems and such that were worth a lot, and they wanted it, so they yeah took over the land, treated them like the second class people, and yeah. And that is the unfortunate thing that is happening. Recently in Africa, the tables have turned, and the African they begin those countries where they were taken over by the Europeans. Now they got their country back, although they know how to speak English. Some do, but they also speak their different languages. And some white folks who still live there, they finally know how the Africans felt. So yeah, the white folks, yeah, they finally know how they felt. Don't for the Afrikaners. And of course, the Europeans they were very powerful. They were like taking other people's land, Africa and North America, the natives, and present day North America and Australia and some parts of Asia. If you learn it in a world history class. And everybody knows, like all the kings and queens of United, like England. And they were like, and many white people like they were looking down on being racist to other people of other races because of their skin color and the way because they were doing things that the white folks were doing, and they didn't like how those people were doing something else that they didn't understand. And yeah, of course, the North Americans, the white folks in North America, after they stole the land, yeah, they brought over some quite a bunch of Africans over from Africa, and made them slaves. As you have read it in the history books, which just although some white folks they are respected than these people, and the northern bit of USA that went against the southern bit of USA, the Civil War thing. And the underground railway, not a railway, but the blacks, the slaves, they evacuated to the north, and some even made it to Canada. And even president at that time, Abraham Lincoln, he also the free the slaves, that rule. And but still, centuries go on, and you still see black people being mistreated by the white people, mostly in the USA. And racism still happens. Which also ties in with and then they're like, and the black people, they're looked at a lower class, and then poor, and they can't do certain things that that racist thing that was going on. And even it happened these days. Oh, black people can't do this, can't do this job, or can't play this, or job, or it just got ugly. I mean, some people had to really make a difference. Remember how Martin Luther King Jr. I have a dream where my children will be judged not on their skin color, but on their or behavior. That thing. And people look at blacks as thieves or bad behaved people, and of course the black people made hip hop, rap, and then since they were targeted by white police officers, of course a group called NWA. I'm sure some people have heard of it. That song, "Fuck the Police," that one. Although that song would really be offensive to black police officers. Although there had to be some black people who had to make a difference. Although we did have Rosa Parks and Martin Luther King Jr. I mean, look at Venus and Serena Williams, first black woman tennis players. And as they tell their story about how they got that famous, they had to they had received a lot of racism from other people, and look at Tiger Woods. one of the first black people to play golf. And of course, let's not forget Barack Obama, first black president of USA. But even though that was those people, sort of, there was a black representation for that. There have been some of that stuff that black people still haven't apologized for, and for example, Koreatown riot with black people attacking Korean immigrants who immigrated to from South Korea when South Korea was a bit poor. And they're trying to make a better life because, you know, the term American dream. And I didn't like how the Koreans are being successful because they were working hard to make a living. As they were looked down as minors, which I'll get to on another part of the video. And they didn't like all that was going on, so they attacked Korean Americans, and a riot happened, and Koreatown, LA, the whole bunch of, it got violent, and even Los Angeles police had to step in, and it was crazy. It was, fire everywhere. And of course, some black people still enraged against white people for what they did to their ancestors. There have been some white people attacking, being attacked by black people. So let's talk about Asians. Since we've already talked about whites and blacks and then there's Asians. Yes, Asians have been always been looked down since day one as they left Asian countries and made it to the North America or some other places, including Australia. Anyway, some of these they would be judged for how they look, like their eyes, how they look, what they eat, and also their traditions, such and. So a common one, 1871, this was mostly the white people targeting the Chinese men and boys. With that, them saying you Chinese don't belong, and they were being attacked physically verbally, and he even got hanged. Eventually, leading to a couple of seconds later, that with them dying slowly. And that included like a Chinese American doctor, and and uh, and well, white people, black people were had no contribution to this one, but so they had Dr. Jean Tong, and he was dragged through the roughest streak in LA by and he and 17 other men and boys hang from a makeshift gallows and got a finger cut off, and of course yeah, if you read in history books, the Chinese people were a major contribution to the colonial railway from the west to the east, and they did the most dangerous jobs, and they were doing this job to make enough money to go back to China and make a living for their family, but unfortunately they got stuck here in North America. So you may see this in history books, and also the Koreatown riot being one of these incidents. And then there's the stereotype assuming that all Asians are smart and they're gifted people. But there are people, especially people who are not Asian, that they mistake. Usually, it's the Chinese, Korean, and Japanese people. People they don't know the difference. Meaning the Western folks, North American, don't know the difference between Chinese, Japanese, and Korean, and the frustrating thing an Asian person will ever hear is so especially if you're Korean, you would hear are you Chinese or Japanese, or they will call you a certain Asian country person, and some people and Koreans have heard this all the time. Which Korea are you from? Chinese people would have heard this ching chong, this racist crap, and this is being thrown around a lot by. And there's there's been some young children saying some offensive phrases. So they don't know it that it's offensive, but they think it's just fun to say, but it actually is offensive. the assumptions. Oh, you're from this country. You must know how. You must like this, or you must know how to say this, or you might. Oh, you know this person, or you're a fan of certain things. But some people will make fun of your eyes doing the eye thing, which is very racist and offensive. And there's a certain C words that's been thrown around. It's used in this sentence. C word in the armor. I think we can figure it out. It's offensive to Chinese and Korean people. And the common one, go back to China, has been thrown around. And the most recent one is the assumption that all Asians started, so the Chinese started coronavirus, and all Asians have coronavirus, or the spreaders of coronavirus, and which is not even exactly true because the WHO clarified not to say it, and it's not true. And there have been other claims made by people that it could have started at a Fort Army base in the United States. And let's not forget about the variants that has been started in another. And of course, telling someone to go back to a certain country is just offensive. And people have also been celebrating Chinese New Year and Lunar New Year, acting like they're part of it, like they celebrate it too. But so technically, if you're not Chinese or Korean, sorry, it ain't your holiday. Moving on. Latino folks. Yeah. So, obviously, Latino folks speak Spanish. Because Spaniards, meaning Spain, people from Spain, and the people, they went there, took over the land, and Spanish is one of the official languages, but the way that these people speak it is different, as told by the Latino folks, because so Latino folks are that includes Mexico and some other surrounding and some countries, not Latin America, but we're talking Latino, Mexican and Latino. So there are also people they eat tacos and burritos and a whole bunch of and one of the main languages is Spanish. But Latino people are now looked at as illegal immigrants. And in the stereotypical depiction of Mexicans, even though most of the Mexicans who have came over to the United States of America legally for a better life, referencing again the American dream. So their that judgment is assumption of these harsh and demeaning, and I think all illegal immigrants, and this is why the Latinx community is frustrated about this, and there are people who are have no problem against the Latinx community, but there are still people who still have a problem with making assumptions against Latino people. So the women are depicted as hypersexual, and both men and women are portrayed as lazy, dirty, physical, unattractive menaces. And unfortunately, along with Asians and the Latinx people, Latino people are you don't belong here. That stuff in the U.S. And of course, let's not forget the Muslim people, because they're also been racism targets too. I'm quite sure you have been heard word terrorists being thrown around quite a lot. You know, that stuff that's been bombings going on in the Middle East. So this also has been, some people have been attacked in Toronto, but mainly most of this stuff happened in the U.S. So they see a person with hijab on, and they look they have said they are a Muslim, but they immigrated to the country, and they have received a lot of racism for being because people assume that, oh, you're from this country, all of you are like the same, and just because of the bombings that are happening there, and then some people have said you don't belong in this country, you're a terrorist, and even the YouTube channel, what would you do, which is a bit, which they do segments of real life things in actual public places, and see how people in public how they react to it, and if they help them or they don't help them. And one of their segments had to do with a Muslim person, and also an acting real life acting channel, Soul Snack, one of the popular and most accurate ones. And one of the actors, it involved a Muslim American man, an actual a guest with an actual U.S. Army person, and the other actress was a white woman, and and then that one she was like dropping the words like terrorist, you don't belong in this country. So pretty much what average person who does not like believes Muslims are all terrorists. And it's probably because of the Osama bin Laden stuff that happened in 2001, 9/11, and some people, you know, and not just like bombings, but people, there have been like bombings that are happening between, I mean, look at Afghanistan out there, and yeah, people are trying to flee Afghanistan into other countries as refugees, and also Malaysia. There's a fight between a terrorist group and also the government, and people, and the citizens are caught in the middle of the crossfire, and they're trying to survive, and many men, women, and children have been hurt, and at the Miss Universe pageant, one of the representatives, Malaysia, yeah, she spoke about how people are being affected over in Malaysia, and how things have been worse. And people should just stop making assumptions about certain people's races just because some bombings are happening. And there's also one thing people should avoid doing. Uh, that that generally you're all the same, or go back to where you came from. Because let's remember when Donald Trump was president of the United States of America, he said illegal immigrants should go back to where they came from, and there was a it was a meme, and then there's a native chief saying, "Oh, so when are you going back?" And because making assumptions about certain people of certain races, so we're not all the same. So sure, we might be of certain backgrounds. You could be European, but your heritage history is a bit different from one another, right? Same with Middle East, Central Asia, Asians, and Africans. And of course, the natives, people in North North America, and also Australia, and people who originated from certain continents and some countries. Because some people are like really smart at something that, or really intelligent on something. That some people might be strong at things, and some people might have a mix of things. But that doesn't mean we are all the same, because it's our. I mean, you could be a white person and you could be good at basketball, or you could be like a Asian, and you could be a president, or you could be a certain race, uh, and of course you could be marry you could be from one race and you marry someone of another race, and you know because apparently some people have an interracial marriage issue thing that's going on, and especially if there's been and you can do basically anything if you work hard for it, and also just because you're a certain race, that doesn't mean it can't stop you from it. And of course, don't let politics or some controversial groups stop you. You can make it. You can make it. And not just gender stereotypes between like men should be able to do this, or women can only do this, that stuff. Race should not be a barrier for that. And this is why, more than ever, we need to do something about it. And some people could are struggling about in their lives just because about the work conditions that they're living in, and there are other associations out there that you can contribute to. So yeah, like World Wildlife Fund or UNICEF. And you can donate to any association that actually help people. Like for Asians, you can stop Asian hate. And for other, but there needs to be more that supports all races. Because we don't need just like Black Lives Matter, which only focus on black. Although that association is controversial and yeah, as it has been found out. So we need to focus on helping every single race out there. Because people of every single race out there, whether you're white, whether you're native, whether you're black, whether you're Asian, whether you're Latino, Hispanic, Muslim, we need to help everyone at once. Because we can't just like focus on one at a time, because everyone is in need. So let's do some good in the world. And not just donate to like associations like that, support other people in your community, even make some friends of another race, or yeah, because well, the more diverse your friends are of a different race, so you can learn more about their heritage, they can learn about yours, and yeah, we can all get along. Let's do this.